How's everybody doing? Nate Albaugh here, longtime high school football coach out of Illinois, alongside John Aloisi. Coach, welcome.
Thanks, Coach. Great to be here.
Man, this is, what everybody's watching Trap Life right now. So I just started Trap Life because I really want, so we've got the online clinic at Chief Pigskin, and I wanted people to be able to access just part of it if they wanted to. And I know that us wing T guys, we take our fair share of heat. So I am a big believer in community, and I want all our wing T guys to know they're not alone. Coach, why on earth are you running the wing T?
Well, I learned the offense from a guy that was one of my assistants back about 10 years ago. And we were a little bit down, talent wise, but I think the system element, as well as the all the misdirection, and the guy that coached me was really, really good. Bill Manchester is offensive coordinator for me. And I just fell in love with it. I love the fact that it was a 3-back offense. Currently we run out of our, the base red and blue 2-wing set where you got really 4 wide receivers and 3 backs. So just really multiple. And sometimes we go in the shotgun. I think it's most flexible offense. If you want to go into the gun, you can keep a lot of your core plays. So, and there's many other reasons, but it's been very good to us.
Well, Coach Aloisi is the head football coach at Shrewsbury High School in Massachusetts. Coach, where about in Massachusetts? We talking East Coast, West, North, South?
Gotta go about 40 miles west of Boston.
Okay.
40 miles.
Well, I think I remember talking about you about that once upon a time. I didn't hear the Boston accent. So you must be just past the threshold of the accent, right? Are you a lifelong Massachusetts guy?
Yeah, I grew up on Nantucket Island, just off the coast of the Cape. So
right.
Not much. Yeah, we're a little isolated out there. So maybe the accent didn't reach out there.
Very much so, but big rivalry with Martha's Vineyard, right?
Oh yeah, Coach Herman. Yeah, just texted with Coach Herman yesterday. I know he was on this program. I was on Chief Pigskin, right?
Yeah, I went out and visited him. I got to see Martha's Vineyard, visit Coach at his house, had a great time. Well, fellas, John Aloisi, the Shrewsbury, what's their mascot, Coach?
Colonials.
The Colonials, very fitting name. The Colonials were in the state title game 2016 in Coach's time there in 7 years. They've been to 2 league championships, been to the state title game. So they're playing big time football. So Coach, we're going to let you talk today, man. I'm going to shut up now and turn it over to you, let you share your screen and let you talk on. And you're talking about like rocket and compliments.
Rocket and compliments. Exactly right.
Take it away, Coach.
All right. Thanks for having me again, Coach. Really appreciate it. Excited to talk about rocket. I know, Coach Nate and I have had a lot of conversations about rocket over the last year or so. He's been really helpful, but really this presentation, I suppose, is talking about rocket and just really how we structure our series here, how we structure our offense. So like most wing T guys, we think in terms of series that, we have reasons for our plays and everything's sort of systematic. I want to get into the rocket in a couple of slides, but I'll just start with the overview here of, we have 3 or 4 series in our offense. Again, traditional stuff. We put our own little spin on it, but, we have the belly series of called the toss series, which is rocket toss, run the buck. We do some stuff in gun where we don't really run many new concepts, but we try to make it a series based structure as well. So, here is our, kind of how we try to structure our stuff. That off of any particular look, we're going to try. And when I say look, it could be a formation, usually a formation, or in this case, it's going to be a motion, which if I go bounce ahead, this is really what I'm going to talk about tonight with our series is our motion to the open side. Again, this is our base formation, the traditional red, blue. And as I said earlier, I love the fact that we have a 3-back set, but we also have 4 vertical threats at the same time. One of the big reasons I love the wing T. But this is one of our looks. So we usually run toss to the open side, but we can run it to the tight end. But tonight I'm just going to speak specifically about our weak side attack and the complements off of that. So again, here looking at the series structure off of our motion, and get to the open side. We don't really have a midline run actually to the open side. We run trap when we motion back to tight end. But having an off tackle run, which is our belly. We have an outside run, which is our sort of our core play here with the rocket. Having a counter back away from the motion, which is our GT. A play action pass off of that, off of the toss look. A screen, and in a couple of gadgets. I'll show you guys some gadgets at the end here. So we try to stick to this and have, again, sort of a core play, core look that we set up our complements off of. So rocket toss. This year we played a abbreviated schedule, like some of you guys who played 6 games, actually 5, and we played a bonus game. But back in 2019, we actually averaged 9.4 yards a carry on the rocket. And, you know, I love the rocket because it hits so wide, and I think it really puts pressure on force players. And, you know, it minimizes your box, truthfully, because you're stretching the field horizontally so quickly that I think teams have to, they have to kind of cheat to stop the play. And I just show you this graphic here because, you know, again, with 4 vertical threats and 3 backs and running rocket and being able to stretch teams so wide, I think, you know, teams have to commit a force player. They have to have a force player that leverages your halfbacks. You know, sometimes we go out of two split ends. Sometimes we go out of 2 tight ends, but they have to have a guy here in the overhang position to leverage the play. And they have to have one over here. And naturally, they're going to have 2 corners as well, just because of the gap integrity. And they're going to have a safety. They're going to have to have a safety or 2, because we have 4 vertical threats. You know, if they had no third level, you know, it's hard to run man to man with rocket, but it's also hard to cover the third level if we've got all those threats. So we think that it really helps minimize the box. So for us, if we see a 6-man box like this, we think we're in good shape. If teams are going to overplay the toss, you know, there's been times teams have taken the toss away or made it really hard for us to run it. But, you know, we've been able to run our belly, say, inside to the 6-man box really effectively, because they've committed so much effort and energy to stop the play. What number, we call these number 2s, you know, number 1 is our end man on the line, but what these force players do kind of dictates what we do. If this guy's getting involved in the play, you know, we have an answer for that as well. But I kind of think that there's not many ways to stop the rocket without, you know, again, having this guy play really aggressive, or this force player play really aggressive, or this safety screaming on down. It's hard for these backers to make the play if your toss is well timed. You know, we want to hit the thing on the ghost tight end, and we want to hit it at 4 yards, which is really important. Now, those of you that run the rocket know that, in my opinion, the deeper you hit it, you know, the deeper you hit it, it just gives the defense a better angle to track it down. We want to be fast, wide, and shallow as best we can to really stretch the edge. Now, I tell the kids this is, to me, bubble screen. It's really similar to bubble screen. It's kind of the same effect. You're trying to leverage that force player. It's just a lot higher percentage. You know, and I'm not that big a fan of high school bubble unless you have a real stud quarterback. If the throws off just a little bit, it's hard to get positive yards on that bubble. So again, I'm going to speak to the toss a little bit more, and then the complements that we have to this open side. All right. So again, this is how it looks. You know, I'm not going to get too detailed in the play. I think most of you guys that are wing T guys know the play. It's nothing too complicated. Our numbering system's pretty basic. We've done different things on the backside of the toss. We false pull sometimes. Sometimes we have a tight end go out for a pass. You know, these guys aren't critical in the play, because really you just have to block the end. And sometimes you don't even have to block the end. You got to get the force. You got to get the corner. So that's what our base toss looks like. Again, 2 years ago, 9.4 yards per carry. We're still processing. We're still tallying our statistics from this past year. We didn't get 9.4 this year, but it was still a really good play for us. So here's a little video of it. And I know it might come through a little choppy here, but this is our end zone of the play. And we actually crack on this play. You know, we usually have if I can pause it. we usually have the defensive end reached by our tackle. Some teams, like flexbone teams, are going to release that tackle, rip through here and try to get outside and climb. And if this guy gets in the way, they'll reach him. We just reach him automatically. There's a number of reasons we like to reach him. Well, I'm not going to get into that now, but we reach we call that number 1 as the end man. And then we have the first guy outside of him, our halfback's responsible for, and our split end's responsible for the corner. Now, if we crack it, we have our split end blocking number 2, and we have our halfback here. So this actually is a crack tag off it. Everything else the same, except we crack it. So I'll play it through. Hopefully it comes through all right. So a lot of the times we're getting that ball out there, and our halfback's not touched for 5-10 yards. I think here our halfback doesn't do a great job on the corner. We have leverage on that guy. We're in a great look here. We got our guard out in front. We got our halfback on this corner here, and he kind of ducks under him there. We feel like we have a great play, but he ducks under, and that kid was pretty athletic that made that play. But that was a real positive play for us. So that's our toss crack that we run quite a bit, but we'll run it out of our base look as well. All right, so now again we're looking at, in terms of series, we have our motion here, same formation, same motion. And if we get this linebacker widening and we feel like he's kind of not really, he's got to honor this toss. He's got to leverage this block. He's got to leverage the speed of this. We got this 6-man box here where we're going to block traditional belly blocking, where we on block it here. And then the halfback leads through and blocks the play side. The first backer off the midline is his rule. And actually our center here would probably, if the nose or the open side tackle was shaded on the guard, our center would climb to the backer. We give a solo call. The guard would give a solo call. There's no double. He'd come right to him. So if we get the center on the backer, now we really have a 3-for-3 game here, which we like. We think we got to have a good angle, and then we just got to get this L to attack. One of the reasons I used to not like belly as much, because I'd say, man, our halfbacks are speed guys. How are they blocking inside linebackers? But we coach the crap out of it, and we teach them to, keep their head up, attack half the man. And if it's a stalemate, we win. If our fullback's hitting it quick, this has been a very, very good play for us. Now I'll get into this a little bit quicker. A little bit more detail later, but we actually will go motion to the tight end side, and we kind of have compliments to the tight end as well. But again, this is our open side belly. We're on belly to the tight end too. So a lot of times, if we get that 3 tech, we're going to cross block it. If we get the head up guy, we're going to cross block it. But with that tight end wing, we're usually getting that A gap shade. So a little video of our belly, not the end zone, but when are we thinking to run belly is when the force player is running with the motion, as I said, and maybe a lot of times that D end will actually hop out for a second, setting up that tackles block. So we kind of have this overhang occupied by the motion. We have this D end slightly influenced. Now we've got our halfback on this first backer. If we can get the center to the backside, we got a pretty good play. So we hit it nice and quick. Again, you can see 16, the DN widens a little bit. It's almost just kind of a fan block out. We hit it. What we should have done here, we talked to our split ends. If our split end could have cut a split down, try to get to that free safety. Sometimes it's really hard if that free safety is shallow, but let's not block this corner. Let's try to get a piece of that free. We could have had it maybe broke this play. But you can see the influence of the motion on the edge. We have this guy outside backer hopped out. 16's got his eyes on it. Nice turnout block. We got the ISO there. So that's our off tackle play. It's not really off tackle. It's obviously a B gap play to that motion side. If we got an edge, we've got an edge that's stretching to motion. We're thinking belly back inside. Really keeps that box light, we hope. All right. So now here, off of this same look, this is kind of blending series a little bit. We stole the belly play and put it into the toss series. Again, one of the things I like about our offense is our series overlap in some instances. We want to see what our linebackers are reading. We usually can tell in a scout week, the linebackers going with the fullback or the linebackers reading the guards. And I'm not going to get into, what our answers are if the linebackers are reading guards tonight. I'm not going to get into that. But if the linebackers are reading the fullback on this play, we really like our GT counter because our quarterback, we get this motion again, same look, and quarterback's reversing. It looks like belly. We tell this fullback, you got to take just a rollover quick fake with your arms, and you're sealing that backside end. That's your rule here. You're sealing that backside B gap, B to C. But give a quick flash fake. If we can pull this backer, then we got great angles to run. Essentially, to me, GT is power. You got to kick in a wrap. How you kick in your wrap, we do it with the guard and the tackle. We do it some other ways too, but this is our core way to do it. I think it's tough for a high school kid. You got a full speed motion here, full speed. He's usually influenced. This ends wide. It gives us nice angles coming back on the GT. So I got a little bit of film of this too. End zone shot. So on this play, we actually one-on-one with the free safety. Our running back, he plays at St. Anselm College right now. He's a freshman. This was last year's tape. He ends up making a move on 37. We get their inside backers, a 4-2 box, inside backer flying. We get good down blocks, and our halfback comes back through and makes that free safety miss. And again, you can see their end, their force, their inside backer so influenced by the rocket. This was the last play of the first quarter. We had run toss and belly probably 3 or 4 times each. We got a punt return down to their 20-yard line. And I think one of my coaches said, Coach, you got to counter them. And we countered them. And it was a 1-play drive. We score here. So fullback and the motion to that side, pop it right underneath, make the free safety miss. Nice play there. So those are kind of like this series here, the 3 core plays, I'd say, is at least 3 core running plays. We have the toss, we have the belly underneath it, and we have the GT coming back, all off the same look. All right, Coach Albaugh. Spent a lot of time talking to Coach this offseason, stretching the field vertically, stretching the field horizontally. And I stole a lot of the ideas off this play from him. And again, this is to our open side. We prefer throwing it right, but we can throw it left as well. Same look. We got our motion coming to this open side. We have an answer if that force player is widening. We have an answer if these backers are flying. Now, what happens if this free safety is flying and he's making the play for a minus, which it would be 3 yards or less. If we have a free safety making the play at 3 yards, we got to throw it over the top. We like to run a football if the safeties are getting involved, we've got to be able to keep them honest. This play is not always complete, but we at least want to threaten them vertically, and try to throw it over their head. There's been times we got pass interference on this play. Sometimes it's incomplete, but that next play, that free safety is a couple of yards back. Now, we also have a wheel here off this, which there are times this is uncovered. We've come back to it later in the game and hit the wheel. And there's also times where this guy's completely uncovered as well. One of the tricky parts of this play a little bit is you got that backside overhang blitzing. You got to make sure you got a 4th man of protection for that, because we usually send our fullback here. Sometimes we'll keep the tight end home for that guy, or we'll run a hot route. If the quarterback sees it, we'll just get rid of it to an out quickly to him. But that's the tricky part. But we're really taking 5 steps. Again, I got a lot of these ideas from Coach Albaugh. Take the 5 steps and let it fly. And we're usually running this, like I said, we're running it into response to an aggressive safety. We're not just throwing it when the safety's at 12 yards. We're trying to put our Q in a good position. This was a great play for us this year. I mean, really huge spots. This team we played here, Leominster High School, it's a city team, really good athletes, well coached, and they were stacking the box on us. We knew they were going to stack the box on us, and we hit some huge play throws here. So this is our crack seam. So we're going to have tight end left. Coach Albaugh, is the film okay? real choppy, or is it coming
Had
through all
myself
right?
muted. It's a little choppy,
Okay.
but it's good enough to see it.
Okay, good. All right, so it's hard to see the safety where he's at here. They're in a 2 high look and a 3-4. The other safeties, they're really creeping. I mean, this safety's toes about 9 yards. So our X here is going to come down like a crack. And on that 4th step, he plants his inside foot. He gets vertical as fast as he absolutely can. And we have our halfback on the wheel. There's times when we'll tag this formation to get him in the slot. So we'll put this halfback in the slot just to get him to push that wheel a little better. It's a long way to go sometimes from that halfback spot to the numbers on the wheel. So that was just a little wrinkle we added at times. So this is again, we're looking at that. We're taking 5 steps and we're hitting it right down the middle. Really nice throw by our quarterback. He was a huge play for us. Just the play came up so big for us in so many spots this year when those safeties were creeping. All right, so now in terms of a series, you've got our, like I said, we've got our toss, we've got our outside run, we've got our belly underneath it, we've got our counter coming back, we've got our play action over the top. And we have a couple gadgets here that we use. This one, we run some gun jet stuff, and a lot of the gun jet stuff is very similar to our rocket. Now, we didn't run gun jet this year, but we're in a 2x2 set. Our halfbacks are our motion men, so a lot of the plays carry over. It's just kind of slightly different motions or alignments. So we've run this throwback. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm a step ahead here. This isn't the throwback. This is our just simple toss pass here. This play's been really good to us as well. If we see a corner that's being really aggressive on the toss, this is our answer there. To me, it's sprint out pass. We're going to block it. We get this guy on the edge. This year we had an R who threw well, and we put a kid who threw lefty on the L. So I'll show you touchdowns from both positions this year. And there's times we sneak our backup quarterback in here as well. And we push the edge, and we kind of let the kids figure it out how you're going to do it. Like when we practice this, we'll run this 4 or 5 straight times on air a day or two before the game. And I used to coach exactly for those X what to do, but I'd say, you know what, guys, you figure it out. Whatever your split needs to be, however you're going to fake that corner, use your judgment. Is it inside release? Is outside release? I don't know. Is the corner going to be outside or inside? Just give him a good fake, be an actor, look him in the eye, break down, and then you're going to break for that corner. We don't bring the tight end across. We probably could as a secondary option. We tell this guy, if you're getting the ball on the edge and that corner drops, he's running. We have our halfback. I got the R and the L mixed up here. I apologize. I think I reversed it in huddle and didn't change it, but we got our halfback still blocking the same guy. But he's just a little more passive with it. We reach here just like we would our guard's eye and this guy just as he would. And we throw the football. This tied the game. This is another big game for us. We had a lot of close games this year. This tied the game up in a against a really good team, third quarter. So we got a little bit of a cut down, a split by the X just to give him room on that corner route. This corner was being real aggressive. They were flying to the toss. I mean, this was, again, third quarter. We're not running this play first quarter. We're lulling them to sleep with the motion. Real nice throw, not great camera work. But we get in the end zone. The kid who threw the ball meets him in the end zone, which was great. That was a big touchdown for us. Just a corner route by that X. This is the next week, or actually, I'm sorry, 2 weeks later. Shut the sound off. Now, this is the tight end right here. So this is the split ends over here. And this kid, our R, is left-handed, and he can throw pretty well. The ball he throws here is not great, floats a little bit, but we still get the result we want off the play. Their corner, you're going to see, I'll rewind it, but their corner flies up. It's really the safety who has the safety who comes over, but we still score here. You guys can see this is a safety here. Corner's all twisted around. We get past the corner. We probably should want to put the ball a little bit more of a line there. Things felt like it was up there for 3 hours, but it finally came down and we got the touchdown. So that's if we have that play side corner being real aggressive, we got an answer for that. And I don't know if I consider that toss pass really a gadget. I mean, it's like sprint out pass. You know, why can't a different kid throw the football? It's not a big deal. It's not a crazy risky play. If it's not open, you just run it and probably get 5. Now here, again, motion to the open side. What do we have coming back to the tight end? Well, we run a boot sometimes, but our boot will be back to the open side, almost be a waggleish type playoff rocket. But to keep true to the series, we're thinking, you know, motion to the open side, motion to the open side. We really I don't like booting back to the tight end. It's hard to get that D end who might be a little wider shade. So one of the things we've done this, we maybe throw this once or twice a year, is just a throwback to the quarterback where we toss this play. If they're pulling the string, if they're pulling strings with the safeties and they're vacating this area, you know, if they're trying to play a numbers game, we're motioning to 3-by-1 and they're going to bring 3 people, which is a good sound defensive move. We really feel like this opening back here is where we want to exploit through a boot, again, which we can boot back to the open side. We have this throwback here as well. Or if a team's in man cover, we're going to clear out that back side and throw it back to the Q. All right, so this was a 2-point play. We knew that when we sometimes take the fullback and we put him offset, and we offset the fullback, his rule becomes, instead of trap path, you're blocking the safety. If it's a middle safety, you got him. If it's a too high, you got him. You got play side safety. So we knew we had a tendency whenever the fullback's out here in the slot, actually right now, we can put the fullback in behind the tackle in the dive back spot. We put him out in the slot just to get in that extra safety blocked if we really want to run it. We knew we had a tendency. We knew that we had offset fullback, empty it out. We're going to toss it. So we did this on purpose and put them out. We asked for the ball in the left hash. So we're trying to bait these guys. 2-point play. We want it left hash. Our fullback's out. We've got 2 indicators to the defense that we're running toss over here. I think they were ready for it. I don't remember if they called for it, but number 1 could throw the ball. He's going to toss over here. They're in man, I believe. Our tight end clears out, and we're pretty wide open on the backside. 2-point conversion, emptied it out. Break the box, settle up, throw it back. Late hit on top of that, which was great. We get the 2 points. So now, as I said earlier, this is all the open side. You know, when we run our motion to the tight end side, we've got our trap, which again carries over between buck and toss. We've got our down play, which I know Coach A, you call belly, which was great for us this year, thanks to Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson's coaching points on the down were phenomenal for us this year. The down was awesome for us. So we have the down, the trap. We're on the toss to tight end if the formation permits. And we'll have the boot coming back. We can also run GT away from the tight end. So we have that counter coming back. So there's an overlap too between running the motion to the tight end and away from the tight end. So it's been a good little series for us. Again, it's not our whole offense, but you know, it could be. It's we run sometimes our toss no motion. We run it a lot of different ways. We'll offset the fullback, pitch to him. We'll sometimes put the halfback. We'll bring him over to the same side and dive back, pitch to him. We run it out of empty. Run the rocket a lot of different ways. And like I said, it's been a great play for us. So there's our little series there.
Coach, thank you for sharing, man. Tell me, before I forget, what's your Twitter handle?
At Shrewsbury FB. So I don't have a personal one, but I got our program Twitter handle at Shrewsbury FB.
I'm going to make sure I found that. Thanks so much, Coach. I know we had a ton of great conversations over in the off season, just talking wing T life. And I mean, I'm under no assumptions that anyone that's not a wing T guy is still with us right now. So we can pretty much talk comfortably. All those non-wing T'ers. Listen, what do I know, right? But I have been traveling for a long time, and I will say this: wing T guys are known for, in my experience, have kept their ears open to all sorts of offenses and are pulling ideas from everywhere. And in my opinion, they're listening to more influences than coaches who have latched on to other systems. Right now, am I biased? Probably, right? I'm a wing T guy, but I feel like we got a great wing T community in our nation. And so I'm excited to kind of start our own little wing T community here as well with Trap Life, man. So I'm going to try to, if I ask you a question we maybe have talked about a month or two ago, that was just when it was me and you, but I want some of our guys to be able to pick your brain a little bit. So I got a handful of questions here. They might jump around a little bit, but I'm just going to start firing away. What made you choose 2-point stance for your fullback instead of 3?
Oh man. Oh, wow.
That was the first thing I wrote down.
I think that's a great question. I would say that just the ability to move laterally. I know that the 3-point, I'd love the 3-point for the trap. I mean, we're hitting that thing shot out of a cannon. Belly, you got to take that lateral step, somewhat lateral step, the directional step before the crossover. There's other times you got to move laterally. So I think that's really the main reason. We do some different stuff with offset in the fullback. We'll run a GT with him offset. We won't block the backside D in, stuff like that. So the fact that we do move him around, the fact that he has to move left to right as much as north and south is the reason for that.
Has it always been that, or have you tried both ways?
We've tried in practice, and there were times when we almost were going to give the kids the option, but we just felt like they do too many. There's too many movements by that player to be so much weight on that hand.
Very curious to know, all of our wing T community, you guys, how many of you guys leave your guy up in a 2-point? How many of you put him down in a 3-point? Hey, if there's comment section below, which I know there is, comment below. Let us know if you like your guy in a 2 or a 3-point stance. Coach, I like that right away. You said, we want our rocket fast, wide, and shallow. So does that mean you really, in theory, want that pitch back? That guy that's receiving the rocket, he should be on the downhill again after that by the time he catches. Is that the goal?
Actually, we like to catch it and we're just trying to get width now. In terms of that force player, if we can't get him reached, we're probably going to crack with that split end. So, we're not often cutting underneath that, just because if we cut underneath it, we feel like that inside linebacker is going to pursue. So we're just trying to get outside of number 2. So we're really, once you catch that ball, you're getting out to the numbers now. We don't really stress downhill as much.
Now, I saw that you're taking everybody from the backside of rocket and trying to get them to the play side on what in my system we had called like cross court. We used to call that cross court. So you're taking those guys cross court. Have you found that they're able to make some impact blocks once in a while?
Once in a while. Yeah, I say. And sometimes you wonder if it's worth it. I mean, it's a lot of energy to expend, right? To run all the way across the field for the big guys. But yeah, on occasion, especially when it cuts back, and we've definitely had that happen. If we get a guy cuts back towards the safety, and you got to tackle it, pick somebody off. And like I said, we do some different stuff on the backside at times. And this is some of the stuff I got from you, Coach. What we call a joker. You call it flu, I believe. We'll take the backside guard out of there. Yeah. We'll run the tight end on a route, like if they're in man coverage. We'll kind of do that game plan week to week. Yeah. But that's just kind of our default play there, is having them hustle over for a touch. We call it touchdown block. Backside guys, go get a touchdown block.
Yeah. When you run rocket strong, are there any differences? Like, how are you blocking that tackle tight end wing surface?
Yeah, that's tricky. I mean, it's all about numbers. I mean, if they have only one guy out there, the way I see it is this: you have that D end, you have that force, you have the corner. When you run it to the open side, you got the tackle, halfback, end. When you're running the rocket to the tight end wing, you only have one blocker outside the end man. On the open side, you get 2 blockers outside that man. Mm-hmm. So there's times we'll add the fullback on as that additional blocker if we really want to run it there. But we try to keep the rules consistent so that if you're, that halfback to the side, you're blocking the first man outside the D end. And hopefully we're calling it if there's only one guy out there. And then if we offset the fullback, he's still going to get that safety. Obviously we can go X over as well. And now we get that same idea where we have the halfbacks on that force player and the X over blocks the corner, or we can go 2 tackles to a side. Just if we have a hard time reaching that D end, if their open side D end is really wide and their tight end side is reachable, we might try to go unbalanced or run it to the tight end side, just so we can, again, we try to find ways to run the play. And we have to be creative at times. We run it no motion. A lot of teams are pulling the string. We're in a quick count. If we formation people, we'll go quick count. And one thing I didn't say, Coach, I think this is a really important point. If you're on the I formation, and I ran the I when I started as a head coach, the edge isn't threatened too much. The teams really have to defend from the box to the sideline. In the Rocket, I kind of see it. I tell the kids it's 3 lines of scrimmage. There's 3 boxes. There's the from the tackle out to the sideline 1, tackle out to the sideline 2, and there's the box. So they've got to defend the run game all the way out there. And sometimes a Rocket gets you 4. It doesn't look pretty because when the ball gets outside, all the fans want to see the 10, 15, 20-yard run. I mean, if we're 2nd and 6, I'm pretty happy. If we're 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. So we have to be patient with it too. So I know I strayed from your question, but yeah, tight end side, we do try to keep the rules as consistent as we can.
Now, I've had a couple guys, this has kind of been my question of the last year. A couple of my buddies that are wing tee guys have struggled a little bit with the success of Rocket. And it's led to, it's like anything. Anytime we struggle with something, what usually happens is we end up running it less, right? Or we start focusing on something else more. In your opinion, what are some quick things and quick ideas? Like, why is it working for you guys? What are you guys doing well, in your opinion, that's helping Rocket go?
I guess I just think we have the variety of ways we can run it. Makes it hard on the D. Teams that pull the string, for instance, if you empty it out, if you go with 3x2 set, now that does take away some of your inside threats. Teams want it too high and they want to pull the string to your 3-man side, and you go 3x2, their rule is destroyed. Their rule shattered, So now we're going to go 3x2 and we're going to rock it back to the 2-man. What are they going to do? Are they going to try to run the safety with the 3? There's times, as I said, where we'll offset the fullback and run it to him. There's times we'll take the left half and put him in the right dive back. We have a tag for that. It's almost like a half motion play.
Yeah.
We'll pitch it to him now. So you're actually looking tight end left, wing right, dive back right, quick pitch it out. Same play. It's almost like he did the motion pre-snap. We'll do that. We'll take the fullback and lead him, like I said. We'll go unbalanced. So I think the variety of ways, it's not simply, hey, we're 2x2.
Yeah.
And we're going to motion and you're going to pull that string. So I think the variety of ways is a big help. And I really believe we practice the heck out of our motion in our exchanges. Because if your exchange isn't really good, if you're catching it behind the tackle, I mean, that's a big difference. Or if you're catching it 7 yards deep and it's going to take you a minute to get back to the line. We've really committed in the last 2 years. Like, we are going to get this motion down. And we practice it a lot. I think those 2 factors, I'd say. And we keep teams honest. I mean, you're telling that corner all week, hey, they're going to throw the toss pass over your head. You can't scream up, hey, free safety. You got to be careful, So just being aware of that series-based mindset. And we've had to be more disciplined as a staff in recent years to say, you know what, we really need to have a purpose to each play. And I've talked about this with you, Coach, really trimming down. How many answers do you need to a particular reaction by the D? If you do too much stuff, I'm just not smart enough to keep track of it all in my head. If I have 12 series, or I don't even have a series, it's got a bunch of plays. I'm running a play, not really looking for anything. So I think kind of your constraint plays would be another factor. I think that's helped us be good with it.
Coach, I got 2 questions left. First and foremost, what is the big thing from Mike Johnson that has helped the down play so much? I mean, and for those of you guys don't know, I mean, if you're on here, that means you're a trap lifer and you have access to this Mike Johnson video. And I don't know if the one you're talking about was right here on our site, but he did a 3-video series right here on our site. So go look it up. It's Mastering the Wing Tee. He's incredible. He's like one of the main guys that's always speaking at the national clinic every year. So tell us, like, what was one of those keys to down to making it go?
I love the footwork, and the thing happens so quick. In the way that he phrased it is it's really a trap type deal. It's a down kick. I mean, it's a down kick that's happening out in the C gap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we even, you know, when you get in, we call it a 6 shade, but a tight end has an inside shade. He talks about making him a 5. You're going to cut that split down and really squeeze that D end in, and we're going to pin him just so that gap that you're hitting doesn't become too wide.
Yeah. So
you can maintain that. And just the downhill, you know, the quarterback, the running back, the fullback taking 2 steps and getting north and south right now. So
is he going
really
crossover
good.
Plant then?
So he's stepping, if it's a down play to the right, he's taking his left foot over. You know, obviously he's going to be pivoting his right foot. Yeah. That left foot goes first, the right foot second. And then off that second step with the right, he is getting north and south now, right inside that down block. And there are times when our teams we play, they'll allow the tight end inside. Like we've had head up DNs that allow so we get kind of a bonus.
Yeah.
We've got that way. If our tight end can get inside the D end, he basically is now executing the wings block. When we have a call between the kids, if the tight end can get in there, he's going to tell the wing, you go block the force player.
Mm-hmm.
So now he'll go block the force player out, so we can't fold back in. We've got the inside guy pinned, and we got the kick. If the tight end can't get inside the D end, he's got to block him down. He's going to wash him, like Coach Johnson said. He's going to make that inside shade tight end, move him down, block him. Now we don't have a block for that inside linebacker, so that wing now has to go and get him, and you build that wall. One thing I don't like about down is that force a lot of times comes back inside, because you get the wall built, but there's nothing holding him but the motion. The motion will hold him for a second. If we can get the tight end down inside to basically take the wing over for the wing can block out. Now you got something. I think you're onto the safety, which is again, you're onto the safety now. And you keep an eye on that safety, and he starts making the play. You get your belly pass.
Once you're onto the safety, you're playing with house money anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, last question for you, Coach. What is, and how could you summarize this? This is what I'm wondering. What was probably one of the biggest strides you guys made, as far as just like whether it was in your thought process of your offense over the last year, an actual change you made? What was a big stride you made from last year to this season? And what's a stride you're hoping to make from this season to next?
I'd say 2 things. I'd say that vertical stretch, the vertical stretch that Coach Albaugh tutored me on, that vertical stretch that really, you know, again, if that safety's involved, you have an answer right down the pike there on them. Committing to that play, you know, we had answers before where we would go vertical, but looking back at some film in past years, it's almost embarrassing looking at how poorly we executed it. And on paper, it was a good play. Sure. We practiced the details. I thought that was a big plus for us this year. We also just trimmed down. I mean, we're just trying to get better at less. And, you know, I think when you're a younger coach, this is for me at least, you understand that less is more. Like, you understand the idea. I understood the idea, but I don't know that I practiced the idea.
Sure.
And you got to get to a point in your career. And I caught to this about a year and a half ago. I'm like, man, you know, I experienced it, that you need to trim, because I'm looking back at our plays, and it seemed like every play I'm saying, why the hell is this guy doing that? He's not supposed to do that. Well, maybe we don't coach it enough. Maybe we don't coach it well enough. So trimming down and having that, you know, stretching teams east to west, north and south, you know, you have to, I picture it as the NBA hit chart. You know, you see those shots where they hit. Our offense wants to be able to, off of that look, you got to be able to hit every area of the field and beat. it's not as much your playbook as knowing when to call certain things, I think. And that's one thing I've realized too over time. Everything looks good on paper.
Yeah.
You got to call it at the right time. And I think, and we certainly haven't arrived as a staff, but we're working towards that for next year. And even taking that to another level.
So that would be what next year's goal is just a better understanding of wins.
I think so. I think, the better understanding of wins, maybe 2 or 3 years ago for us, I understood what the wins. Maybe last year, assistant number 2 or 3 understood the wins. Now it's getting everybody to really, truly be on the same page and understand everything. I think is going to be, is a big goal for us. Yeah, definitely.
Man, well, Coach, I had a blast hanging out with you tonight and hearing about your offense. If the guys had some questions for you, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, my email is Aloisi, JALOISI at Shrewsbury.k12.ma.us. That's a lot, but if you just search my name, I work at the high school. I'm a social studies teacher as well, so they'd be able to see my email there.
Okay.
It was on my first slide, but I kind of skipped over that. But you should be able to go to Shrewsbury High School and be able to find my email in there.
All right, guys, if you have any questions, be sure to look him up. A great dude, fun to hang out with, fun to talk to. Coach, any closing thoughts before we let you go and say goodnight?
I just think in the age of the spread, I love the spread. I really do. But I think, just be open. The wing tee's got some great concepts, and it's been really helpful for us. And like I said, you can go to the spread out of the wing tee as well. Just, it's an offense that some of you guys might be on the fence about it. People call it archaic, but there's a lot of spread concepts within it as well. So don't turn your nose up at it. Learn more about it. It's great stuff.
Amen. All right, Coach. Guys, thanks for joining us at Trap Life. Who's going to be next? Reach out to us. Hit us up on Twitter at @TheChiefPigskin. Would love to have, or at Trap Life FB. Hit us up if you want to be on Trap Life. We'd love to hear from you. Good night.